Welcome to today's program. Today we have a special guest, Nancy Quellhorst from the Iowa City Chamber of Commerce. The president is going to join us today, and we're going to do some work with some fresh vegetables. And we want to show how we can incorporate more vegetables into your daily meal. And we're going to do a little kind of an Italian theme today. We're going to do a cannellini bean salad, some roasted vegetable sauce with some pasta, and then some sauteed zucchini. So we're going to start with the roasted vegetables first because this is going to take the longest amount of time to get going. We have our oven turned on for 450 degrees. And Nancy, I think we'll just go ahead and start doing a little cutting. We're going to need these onions cut into quarters, and all this stuff we just put in this pan, and we're just going to put it all there, mix a little oil with it, and cut it up.
Great. This is going to be a dish that if I can do, anyone can do.
Anyone can
I'm
do.
not the cook at our house.
You can do this one.
You're going to know
ahead
that
of time.
right away, Ron. You're going to see, oh, she's obviously not the cook. Look, I've already done more than quarter it.
There you go. Just flip it on there. We're just going to mix it all together. And once we get these vegetables roasted, we're going to add some other ingredients to that, cook it a little longer, and then we're going to puree it, kind of a rough puree in the RoboCoupe, and then that'll be our sauce. This is something that would be good to do the evening before, the day before, so when you come home, you cook the pasta real quick, and then you could just add that sauce to it.
Preparation is the key, huh?
There's just
You want these small pieces in there?
all of it in
All
there.
right,
You
I can
bet.
do that.
We want to take a celery and a carrot, cut those in about 1-inch pieces.
Like this?
Yep, that works fine.
Oh, this is a sharp knife. It's not like my chef's knife at home. It's just in sad shape.
I have some fresh garlic. We're going to add that to it, just a whole garlic. No need to cut it up.
1 inch here
That's
as well?
fine.
This is going to be a big, won't that take a long time to cook?
No, well, we're going to have it in, this takes about 25 minutes to half an hour in the oven, and then it gets an additional 10 or so when we add the tomatoes later on.
Do you like it on an angle or straight?
Either way, we're going to puree it up, so
I'm
it's
gonna
not
be,
a big
oh,
difference.
so my art really is not going
I'm
to come
sorry,
through at all. That's
that comes
unfortunate.
later. Just
anywhere?
throw it all in there. That's great. And we're going to do these mushrooms. I would just cut those in half and just put them on there. And we have a zucchini. We want to just cut that into about a 1-inch coin also.
You want that in strips
That's,
first?
that's fine. You cut it in half and then the
All
other way.
This is very easy for you, but very intimidating for me to do this on camera. Okay, like this?
That's fine.
All
Yep.
right.
There you go.
So what kind of training do you need to be an executive chef? What kind of education before you get to wear that very tall hat?
Well, it's you know, there's a lot of ways to get to that. One is to go to a culinary school and start that way. Another is to start at the bottom and just spend a lot of years doing it that way as well. And mine was a lot of years at the bottom. So we're going to add a couple teaspoons of oil to this. Now you get to get your hands messy and just kind of toss it all together.
Now I'm waiting to see how you're going to season this, because if I were going to do these, I would put some seasoning like Lipton seasoning, which you would probably never ever use. Ah, no. Because I don't have the skill to blend the flavors, so I'm waiting to see how I'm going to learn.
So
How's
there's
that?
more to come later on. This is just going to be the roasting part. We're doing this at the 450 degrees. That'll get a little caramelization that gets that extra flavor to the food.
Great.
Okay, so now we're just going to put it in the oven.
Our recipes today are featuring vegetables, and the intense flavors are going to be really emphasized in our dishes that are being prepared. The zucchini dish will feature the aroma and the seasonality of the fresh zucchini and the colorfulness of it. Zucchini is a vegetable that is abundant in Iowa, often in our gardens. And by using this, we're featuring the intense flavor and adding it as a side dish. We often find zucchini being put into sweet stuff, but this one is our vegetable entree for it today.
I cut part of this up, but we're going to need all this. There's 4 zucchini total, okay? And
All
we're
right.
going to cut all that up.
Watch your fingers, Ron.
All right.
Now, you could probably do this about 150 times faster, right?
I had a little practice, yeah.
I clearly have not. Now, do you head over to the farmer's market and get fresh ingredients when that becomes available? Starting Saturday?
I haven't. I'm actually from Washington. I'm not here, Iowa City, locally. So we have a farmer's market down there. That we,
But at least it's fresh produce.
yep.
You want this in here?
Put it all in there.
All right.
Now we're going to saute some fresh garlic and a little olive oil in the skillet.
Now, do you use the extra virgin olive oil, or is that some special
Normally
blend?
I just do the virgin olive
Virgin
oil
olive oil.
for the most part.
Does it make a difference? Is
Yeah.
one heavier than the other?
One has a more concentrated flavor. You can tell, by the color. Actually, it does have a more of a green color to it. Depending on what you're doing. If you're using it for a dressing or something, you get that mouthfeel at the very end. That'd be a good time to use that extra virgin, where you get the benefit of the extra money you're spending for.
So if you're not cooking at all, if it were just
if you put it in here, it's some people say they can tell the difference, and I say most people can't. We're going to add a little bit of garlic and let that cook for a couple of minutes. All right, Nancy, now we're going to go ahead and add the zucchini and
right.
saute that for a little bit.
Now, is that a special kind of pan that you use? Did you prefer a cast iron or a heavier pan, or this looks like aluminum?
This is aluminum, and it works well for me commercially. Most of the recipes will call for a non-stick skillet, especially with the low-fat foods that you don't require as much oil or
Right.
much fat.
Now,
for doing it.
would you ever stir fry without any oil at all? Like
In a non-stick
balsamic
skillet,
vinaigrette
you
or
can.
something?
Yeah.
Or in a balsamic vinegar or something like
if
that?
I'm doing that, then I want to add a little liquid of some sort, just some fruit juice or whatever, depending on the recipe.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. A few more minutes with that, and then we're going to add some pine nuts, some raisins, and we're going to add a little bit of water to that to help steam that and cover it and let that cook down.
So do you make these kinds of dishes at Mercy, you and your team? Is this something that you could make at the hospital? It seems like it would be difficult to do this and feed a lot of people.
It is difficult in volume. So most of the vegetables we would use are frozen, and we are steaming those. We are looking at bringing in some of the local fresh produce and experimenting with that as part of the program for the summer.
Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of things you can do with them. They're so easily accessible. Now, when you get home, do you cook at night?
No. And it's not that I mind, it's just this is just my wife's kitchen, and I just leave her.
Do you direct? Do you say,
no.
wait a minute, that's
No,
not
no.
the right knife for that, and
No,
I
I
think
like
this
to
oil
eat.
might be better.
She does a fine job.
Yeah, I don't want to get you in trouble, Ron.
So I have some raisins and some pine nuts. We want to get a couple tablespoons of each in here. The pine nuts I have toasted earlier. You can either put them in the oven and roast them that way, or else you can put them in a dry skillet and heat them up. And what you're doing is you're releasing some of the oils in there and bringing out more flavor in what you're eating.
Now, do you buy only the top quality ingredients for everything? For example, if you're going to go buy raisins, would you get the generic raisins, or would you make sure you bought the Sun-made raisins? Does it really make a difference?
Most of the time I would use the generic. It depends on what you're doing with them. If it's the focal point of the recipe, if it's something that's going to get additional cooking, that makes a difference.
Yeah, so you're smart about it. You don't make a decision one way or another. You really weigh what's going to make a difference and what isn't.
Right, it's called bang for your buck.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
Now I'm going to add some water. I have a fourth of a cup of water.
This is interesting. I wouldn't think to add raisins to zucchini.
It sweetens it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then some balsamic vinegar. You need about a tablespoon of that. You can use either a white balsamic or the red. I prefer the white. To
I've
me,
never seen that.
it's a little sweeter. It gives it a nicer taste to it. And then maybe just a little fresh cracked pepper, just to taste. All right, and then we need to cover that with a lid. And this is my lid. In kitchens, we don't have a lot of lids. It's just another
Sure.
clutter. So this works fine for me. So we're gonna let that cook for about 10 minutes or so, and we'll check it and stir it and be ready to go. Okay, Nancy, let's check the vegetables. Those have been in for a while now.
All right. Okay, in the same way that you always make less pasta than you need because it swells, you must put a lot of vegetables on the tray because they shrink. This
They
looks
shrink.
like about half of what we put in there.
You see this is a nice brown color, and see the brown in the bottom of the pan. That's
Oh yeah, that'll
the
be
caramelization,
tasty.
and that's doing great. We're going to put that back in, and I think we'll cut the tomatoes. Also, I'm going to turn on the water for the pasta so that when we're ready for cooking that, if the water will be hot for that. So let's cut the tomatoes. Those are going to go in, and we need these 4, and we're going to cut each one into 8 pieces.
By half and quarter or
There you go.
slicing? Okay, like this. Is this the least
Either way
efficient
is
possible way
fine,
to
just
do
so they're
this?
smaller pieces.
Just keep my thumb out of it? How's that?
So here's what's in half, and just
Yeah, you make that look so easy.
okay.
Yeah. No training
But either
required
way,
for
we
this
just want them
show.
a smaller size, so they, we're going to put those in the oven and give it about 10 minutes, and it's going to release some of that liquid that's in those tomatoes.
And a lot of flavor, I imagine.
Yes.
Okay, am I doing better there?
And that's fine.
All right.
We're just going to add these, and we'll just put these all on the tray.
Now, how do you find a good tomato? I look in the store and I try to look for those that have great color, but that isn't always the most flavorful tomato.
Well,
there a trick to that?
These produce, it's the seasonal obviously is the best if you get them in season from the local market, like you're talking.
Sure.
But the commercially grown, they are genetically set so that they can harvest those green. They can they'll handle that transporting, and
How about hydroponic tomatoes? Have
Loaded-
you ever tried
loaded.
those? Work with those?
it's what's the best at the time. So yeah, I mean that works when you don't have anything else to go by. So now we're going to add that. A nice little sizzle to it, huh?
Absolutely. Now, will those cook down? I assume with all that
Those will
water in
shrivel up
there?
as well. Yeah, they'll soften up, and when we get done, we're going to add some more items to this, and then we're going to put it
Great.
in the food processor.
Can't wait to see what we're going to add.
About 10 minutes for that. Okay, Nancy, let's take a look at the zucchini here. It's softening up quite a bit. It's about ready. I think we'll finish the rest of the items up.
Ooh, that looks
and
good.
Get the pine nuts and the raisins up off the bottom a little bit.
Now, if you cook vegetables more quickly, is it a myth or is it true that you retain some of the mineral content, the vitamins and the mineral content? I always read, use minimal water and cook very quickly, and that'll help you
Well, definitely
sustain it.
the minimal water, so you're not losing all
Leaching
in your juices in the pan or going down the drain. So while that's finished up there, we will get that pasta going here in a minute and start the salad.
White kidney beans, also known as cannellini beans, are featuring in the salad today. The salad is a bean recipe and will have the tomatoes and parsley and an intense flavor as our side vegetable salad. I wouldn't have dreamed of having beans for my salad, but Chef Ron did today. With the cannellini beans, they're a great source of soluble fiber. They're a great source of potassium. And being a high potassium vegetable, we're able to help lower blood pressure quite often. And with that great benefit of soluble fiber, that just is very helpful for many people with diabetes, cancer, and high blood pressure.
beans I have here are a white kidney bean. They're called a cannellini bean.
And it's just a canned bean that you rinsed?
You can buy them either the raw beans and cook them yourself, or buy the can. These are just the canned ones.
I'd go with the can.
And we just rinse them and drain them real well, okay? And we're gonna need about 2 cups of those. You're gonna need this tomato. I've already seeded it and cored it, but we want to go ahead and chop that up.
I know how
also.
to put it in 8 pieces now. I know how to.
There you go.
Is that what I'm doing?
We're just going to chop this up.
Oh man! All right. So this slices.
So
you give me some direction
here's what you
here.
want to do. You want to turn it down so you got a solid surface to work from, okay? And then go ahead and cut it either that way or the other, either one, just so that you're here. Let's
Here.
go with this.
I'm going to
So we're
take
going
direction
to
here.
take.
This is going to be a learning experience for me.
And you're just cutting it into squares.
Simple.
Okay?
And I notice you don't do this action. You're doing more of a slicing kind of action than chopping.
And that's a personal preference.
I see. Is it easier on your? Are you worried about your utensil here? Your
No.
beautiful chef's knife.
So just set the knife down. Put the knife down. All right. Add those tomatoes. Then we're going to go over to the skillets, and these we're just going to warm up. We're not really going to cook those. Everything is already cooked. We got a non-stick skillet. Put about 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil in here.
And you know that that's 1.5 tablespoons. I would get out the measuring spoon and
Trust
measure
me.
out a table. I do
me.
trust you.
We'll let that warm up for just a moment. Now these beans and the tomato, we're just going to warm the salad up. We'll take that off, and then we're going to add some seasoning to that as well.
Great. That looks really healthy.
I think our water is about ready to go, so we'll cook the pasta while this is going. The veggies will be done. We'll puree the sauce while the pasta finishes.
Is that frozen tortellini?
This is a fresh. It's a garlic and herb, but just commercially picked up in the store.
Sometimes you can make a really healthy meal just by picking up a few things that are pre-prepared and throwing them
shopping
together.
around, right.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of time to do, a lot of preparation and a lot of cooking, so I look for those kinds of recipes. At least that's my excuse. It's not that I don't want to work hard at cooking, I just don't
Well,
have time.
We're trying to come up with recipes that are nutritious, yet they're reasonably quick to make, or they can be prepared the day before.
Yeah, and these are
evening
easy.
before.
Especially since I've learned how to chop. World of difference.
Okay, so now we're going to add to that pine nuts again, and a little red onion. Actually, you want to go ahead and chop that up into small.
I know,
Small dice.
Put the flat side down.
Flat side down.
See, I'm
Makes it a
learning.
little
I
easier.
can't be taught.
There you go. Doing well.
How large? Is that about the right size?
That's fine. Excellent.
This has been very instructive. There we go. And do you want this in there?
We want that in here. We want 1 tablespoon of pine nuts.
This is the way I do it?
Yep, that works.
All right. See, I'm trying to protect your blade here by scraping off this way. I don't know where I learned that, but someone told me that
There you
once.
There's pine nuts in
okay.
here, little red onions, and we're just warming that up. A little salt and pepper, a pinch of salt, just to bring out the flavor in that tomatoes and the beans. Fresh black pepper. Okay, I'm going to shut that off for a minute and finish up the roasted vegetables.
Oh, good.
Okay?
Want to see what's happened to that tomato?
Like I say, we've softened the tomatoes up, and they're releasing some of their liquid, and that take the caramelization off the bottom of the tray, and all that is flavor, and that's going to go into
Wonderful.
our puree.
Wonderful.
So now we need to put it in the food processor. We'll have to come in here. Get all that juice.
Great. Smells good.
We're gonna get all that brown as we can.
Fresh garden vegetables are at their peak in the summer, and being able to go to our farmers market or picking them out of our local gardens is just a wonderful experience. But here we're going to bring them home and put them into an intense roasted flavor sauce. This sauce will be able to be used at the moment that we make it. Plus we can put it into the freezer and then savor it in January when we're dreaming about those fresh vegetables again. The intense flavors are enhanced by the roasting, and then we're going to be also quick cooking them to help preserve the vitamin and mineral content of those carrots and celery and tomatoes and zucchini. All of those are enhanced often by a little bit of heat. As long as we don't heat the vegetables too long, then we don't destroy the vitamin C content, and we're actually enhancing the content of the fat-soluble vitamins and minerals by some heat and the olive oil that's added.
So Nancy, I'm going to put a little more of the balsamic vinegar in there.
Wonderful. I'm going to try some of that white balsamic vinegar.
That's good stuff. A couple teaspoons. Tomato paste. This is just 1 tablespoon. Gonna just fortify that tomato flavor a little bit.
Now, would this be good with fresh mozzarella and basil in the way that a heavier balsamic vinegar would be?
Absolutely.
I like slices of fresh tomato and basil and fresh
Just
mozzarella.
like your bruschetta type items.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite for that as well.
I'm gonna
I
try
have
that.
some fresh basil leaves. We're going to add that in there.
Don't even have to chop it.
Nope, we're going to process it all. I have a little leaf oregano. Now this I use in the dried here, but I didn't have any of the fresh. But if you're using the dried, you want to use less,
About half.
about a third less.
Okay.
About a third of what it calls for, because it's more concentrated. Okay, and then a little parsley flakes, or fresh parsley. And put a little pepper flakes in there. This is just going to give us just a little,
Yeah, I like that.
a little zip. Not a lot. Okay. Then we're going to process that a little bit. And stop and stir it down a little. Okay. I think this is fine. We don't want, a real smooth, I'd like to have a nice, kind of a rustic look to it. And I'm going to take and add that to skillet, and we're going to heat that a little bit. We'll take the salad off of there.
With this one?
Yeah, we'll take that little one there. And then we're just going to heat the sauce up for a few minutes. And we should be ready to go. All right, Nancy, before we plate this up, why don't you go ahead and chop this parsley up, and we're going to add a little bit of that to the salad to give it a little bit of color.
Wonderful.
A little bit more green. Your technique is improving as we go along here.
Yeah. It's your great instruction. Ron, how's that?
That's fine.
You want finer than that?
No, that'll be fine. We'll just go ahead and throw all that in there.
Ooh, yeah, that does make it look pretty.
And it brightens that up. Okay. And we'll take in. Also, we're going to take and use some wedges of lemon, just as kind of a garnish on here. Salad.
Want half this way or half this way?
That way's fine. Okay. Then you can squeeze that lemon juice on there and bring out the flavors
Wonderful,
more on
yeah,
the
not
salad
what I would think of when
also.
I'm thinking of salad at all.
So then we're going to go ahead and drain the pasta. We'll turn off the sauce. It's a nice heavy bodied sauce, but it's vegetables that's
Oh,
is the
yeah,
body
it's
too, you know.
fabulous.
The tortellini.
And would you say that is garlic? That has what
It's
is
garlic and herb.
Mhm.
And then we will take the sauce, bring the sauce over. Now, this recipe actually makes more sauce than what we'll need for the 4 people, but
But I bet it would freeze well.
it would freeze well, and it's this would work out well too if you put it on fish or chicken, something like that.
Ooh, I would like that.
So,
Yeah, one of those things that you could make and get a few meals out of it.
then we will take the zucchini, and we'll stir that up, get a little bit of those raisins and pine nuts off of there. You can smell this got a little bit different. It's got kind of a sweet sour, you know, with the vinegar and the raisins
Yes,
together.
yes. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And maybe we'll put a little pinch of fresh basil on there to set that off. And so, you know, as opposed to a can of pasta and a can of sauce and a can of green beans, you've got all these vegetables in the salad in your sauce and your fresh vegetable as well.
Healthy and delicious.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me here, Ron.
So what time can you be here tomorrow?